Today is Tuesday, February 18th, 2014. Before we get started, let's take a moment of silence. Now, let's go to the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The birthday for today is Bailey Hunt. Happy birthday.
To celebrate Black History Month, here's a video.
Here's a line from a research paper by Sylvester James Gates, better known as Jim Gates. He wrote that, remarkably, the fundamental pre-potentials describing these dual elements of the super-Virasora algebra in each model agrees with the known pre-potentials of the corresponding supergravity theory. And if that means anything to you, well then, I'm impressed. And here you see Jim Gates receiving the National Medal of Science from President Barack Obama. Obama's science and technology advisor said of Gates, "As important as Jim's contributions have been in physics, I'm equally appreciative of the work he has done to inspire the next generation of doers and makers." But let's listen to Gates himself talking about how he became interested in science.
About age 6 or 7, I had just learned how to read, and my dad brought home some books on space travel. I was born in 1950. Nobody had ever been in space. So when I was reading about space travel, this was like, the far edge of what one could think about. And I became very excited. And I thought about becoming an astronaut. It was in my junior year of high school. I took a physics course. I had a fantastic physics teacher, a gentleman by the name of Mr. Freeman Coney. And one day in class, he showed me the closest thing to magic I have ever seen in my life. He did this experiment where you take a board, and you tilt it, and you let a ball roll down the board. And then you take a stopwatch and time it. And it turns out that the distance the ball travels down the board is proportional to the square of the time on the stopwatch. And he wrote this equation, and it describes what's going on. I was thunderstruck because I had always thought of mathematics as being an element of imagination. It was just like making up stories about space flight or reading comic books about superheroes. It was a game of play for me, and it was always inside of my head. But to see mathematics suddenly leap outside of my head and be in the world around me, I was like, how can this possibly be?
As the chairman of the physics department at the University of Maryland said about Jim Gates, he said, "He's everywhere, and he's everywhere at an incredibly high level." I like to say there's a lot of people who have great contributions to science. There's very few people like Jim Gates who can do what he does on that scale at that level of excellence.
That's all we have for today, lives. Bye.